Well, hello, y'all. Welcome back to another Massachusetts Central Radio Show. I'm your home host, Mike Kamal, here for another one for these and everything like that. But hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Massachusetts Central Radio Show. I'm your home host, Mike Kamal, and today I'm going to do the learning differences video because I've wanted to do it a long time, and I just thought I needed to get this out because the message is great. So hello everybody. Yes, I promise you guys this. I have a script. I've read it like 5 million times and I've watched all the videos. I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to do. So I think where I left off last time was when I went from middle school from Butler School, elementary school to middle high school. And so So fast forward into my teen years. So for those of you who do not know, when you have a learning difference, timing to get the right amount of assistance is very crucial. So in my case, if I didn't get the right help by, I'm going to say, my teen years, there's a chance I probably wouldn't have been able to function the way I do now. And thank you to my parents for doing this, but I'll get to that in a moment. So this is my sixth grade year. So this is fifth, sixth, seventh. Well, this is fifth and sixth and part of seventh. So I only spent like maybe 2 months in seventh grade before I switched over to learning prep, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Well, actually, no. Did I start in fourth grade? No, did I start in third or fourth grade? I started in, I started in fifth grade at the Avon Middle High School. Now, this wasn't the best setup, and this was when, this was 1990. I'm gonna say, seventh grade was 2000 and seventh grade was 2002. Seventh grade was 2002. So this was probably 2 years prior. So this is probably 98, 99, 98, 99 in there. I remember starting. Now I remember just learning that I had a learning difference and accepting it and being able to communicate. I learned all these sorts of techniques, but I knew very early on. My parents knew very early on, and I knew very early on that it wasn't going to be the best fit. So we were fighting to get into learning prep as early as the fifth grade. So I remember being in fifth grade. Back in the 2000s, back in the 99, early 2000-ish. Yeah, because I remember fifth grade. I started in 1999. Now that I remember, I started in 1999. I ended in 2000. So, because I remember Pokemon the movie 2000 was huge back then. So yeah, I started out there and enter enter the enter the special needs side on back in the day. I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I wasn't very comfortable in fifth grade. I had some great teachers. Miss Vigor, our homeroom teacher, and back when when you're in public school, a lot of your classes were in the same. Some of your classes were in the same one. Some of your classes were not. You also had a schedule and stuff like that. So, we had 6 periods or 7 periods, and I did a full day. I didn't have a half day. I didn't have everything. I wanted to be integrated into the classroom and everything like that. But I remember this was sort of the beginning of the. Remember, this was the beginning of the end, kind of, for beginning of the end for all that. It was kind of our calling point that we needed to make some very good decisions and everything like that. So I'm probably, so how old am I? Let's see, 2000. So this is 2000. So this is about 1999. So I'm 10. So this is 1999, 1998. So I'm 10, 11 years old, and this is all good and fun and all, but we knew that our window to act. My parents knew that my window to act to get me a proper education was dwindling very, very, very slowly. I mean, I only had 2-3 years before we could actually do something, and before the damage could not be reversed and stuff like that. So I remember starting 5th grade. 5th grade was somewhat of a fine year, okay year. I had some very good teachers back then. I remember Mrs. Lochran, very fun. She doesn't teach with them anymore. Mr. Callahan, our math teacher, again, great guy. He used to help me open up my locker every 5 seconds because I couldn't remember the combination. Yeah, number sequences weren't my greatest thing. I wish I just had a locker that had a thing where I just could push a button combination. I could do it. That would have been so much nicer. But after a while, I got used to it. I took my time and stuff like that. He opened that locker up so many times, and I always said thank you to him. He's a great guy. I think he's still around. He's retired now. My brother Miles we sort of ran into him at a party one year, and we were talking his ear off. I thanked him for opening up the locker. This was probably maybe after I got into learning prep years later. Maybe 5-6 years later after I got into learning prep, and I started doing well. But yeah, I remember that, and 5th grade was tough because a lot of kids, because I was out of the classroom and because I was out of the mainstream classroom. A lot of the kids noticed I was different. This was when the kids in my school began to figure out that I was a little bit different. Although they knew I was different beforehand, I started a bunch of rivalries, and I had a bunch of pain in the ass bullies, many of which I probably scared off half to death with some of my wording, because I didn't know what feelings were, and I didn't know how to communicate very well when I was being teased or bullied. Not easy. Now I know how to tell people to buzz off and not give me any shit, and everything like that. So, or not give me any BS. Sorry if I'm not censoring anything, but I just want you guys to understand. At this point, I'm 11 years old. So, 11 years old. So puberty is right around the doorstep. So the hormones and everything haven't set in quite yet. That was around 6th, 7th grade. But we were learning all that, and I remember us having a sex education class back then. So my parents knew the hormones were going to change, and we knew it was coming. I knew I wasn't going to be able to, it was going to be tough for me to read girls and all the other stuff. I've gotten better at it, but I'm still the typical curious guy. I always want to be adventurous and learn how girls work, like every guy would want to. But I also want to get the 411, and as you guys see, and as you guys know, all that education played into my real life. But this was early days. This is when I was 11, 12 years old, so I didn't really know about girls. I really didn't know how to talk to them, dance with them, and all that other stuff, and flirt with them. So, and all the girls thought I was weird. Thought I was an interesting kid, I always thought that was kind of good, because all the other popular guys were like, "Oh, hey, baby," and all this other stuff, and they thought they were the bee's knees, and and all that. But the girls always thought it was weird and thought I had something. Now the setup I had, now the setup I had, now I'm going to get to the setup I had. So when I got into the fifth grade, we had a learning center, and it was near the back of it was near the front of the school, and I'm going to show you guys a video on not on screen here because I don't have it on the laptop. I'm going to show you on screen, show you a photo shoot on my old Samsung phone of everything. So this is this room that we call the Learning Center. We had this at the Butler School and stuff like that. And here I would be at least 5-6 hours a day. We'd be learning math, reading, and everything like that. And the level of training that these teachers had, well, I thought these teachers were the bee's knees. I thought they were great. I thought I was learning everything super, super slow. I thought I was doing very well and everything. And I had all the confidence in the world. I said, oh, hey, I'm learning this stuff. I'm just learning a little differently. And, I really didn't mind it. At one point, I didn't mind the kids teasing me here and there. And, I used to play with my hair back then, too. Nervous habit. I'll stop playing with my hair. From this video forward, I'm just going to stop playing with my hair because it's kind of like it's a stress reliever, but it's kind of a nervous habit. April does it too with hers, or does it with her hair. So, she has one of those. She's Asperger's like me. So, so we had this setup, and we used to learn math. We had a pretty decent setup. What we thought at the time. I had math. We could write. We used to write essays about the Fennec and all these other things, and it used to be some great stuff. And I used to learn how to type with Mavis Speaking. For any of those who are looking for a typing program that was really good, I highly recommend anybody who doesn't understand home road typing, especially with those with learning differences, Mavis Beacon Typing. If you have a CD drive and you have the money to spend, go on Amazon. I'm pretty sure she's still on there. Mavis Beacon has to be one of the greatest things. I learned how to type, and that's the reason why I was able to type in. All right, sorry, it cut for a second. So yeah, I think I hit a button real quick. So I'll have to combine the videos and stuff like that. But since the computer's great, I'm able to do that. Again, Mavis Beacon, if you guys get a chance, please, because it is a great typing program. You learn how to type, you learn how to type accurately and all that other stuff. That was one great thing. We had a few nice teacher aides that were great. There was one that I really didn't like, but there was Miss Parmelo who was great as well. Fifth grade was also when, was it fifth grade? No, it was sixth grade sixth grade when that happened. So fifth grade, we had this. So fifth grade, we had some great teachers. I had Mrs. Donovan, who's not with them. Mrs. Murray. I knew her son. Her son Evan's very smart, by the way. He went to their academy, everything. Smart kid. My brothers also played baseball with his brother Shane and everybody else, with Shane and the other guy. There was also Nolan, their younger son. Great family. We knew them very well. Very, very nice lady. There was also, but in the learning center, there was a couple of them. There was Mrs. Murray, who was very good. Mrs. Parmelo, very nice lady. She actually owned a racing dog. A racing dog named Galaxy. That's how I remember. Miss Labossiere, she was okay. We'd always talk about the Red Sox. We'd always have a standoff. We'd always have a standoff about the Red Sox, and it would be great. And we thought we'd never win the World. We thought they'd never win the World Series, but they ended up doing it a couple of years after I exited the school. These people were fun for a stretch, and then eventually, when we figured it out that we weren't that they weren't teaching us right. And some of the kids I used to be in this place. I can name them off. There was Jamie. There was Jamie. There was Jamie. Nice girl. She would have been nice. She would have been nice to date. Actually, she was very good. Deborah Parkinson and her brother Henry. They were twins. Both of them were very good people. They just were the brother. They were a little. They were. Both of them were adopted, and they were all. There was a little uncorked at times. Thought Deborah was okay, but she was aight. I actually ran to Henry. Funny story. I actually ran to Henry like 5 years ago. Didn't change very much. He was a product of seeing through all the crap. I'm able to see through the crap in the world, but I just play along with people just because I want to, and eventually, it led to what I found out. But yeah. And then there's Jimmy Bertram, and we knew his brother Joey. My brother Miles knew his brother Joey. Joey was a nice kid. Jimmy was not so much. He was sort of a troublemaker. He was a pain in the ass. Was always going to the principal's office every 5 seconds. And then there was a kid named Adam who I actually got along with. He had some behavioral stuff going on, and they really didn't want to encourage him too much. I.e., that story will come in later, and the reason how I knew they weren't so great, and how I knew that they weren't really all there with helping people and stuff like that. And of course, I had to deal with Paul Zinni, who we didn't like either. And then there was Margaret Frieswick, who I almost had a chance to dip in a dunk tank one time when we had a field day or a celebration day. Oh yeah, then there was Mr. Hart. He was funny. He was a funny boy. He always used to tour around me. We always used to go around. He used to guide me around. He was a nice kid. He was a nice guy. And stuff like that. He got involved with me in 5th grade. I loved him. I loved his personality. He had a big boomy voice. He was great. And we used to do, if we did summer camps, which we did a lot. And if we did summer camps, we actually did a bunch of that. And I remember we used to have a theme every year. We used to have science one year, sports another. That was during my 5th grade year in the summer. It was awesome. We got to go to a Paw Sox game. Got to do whatever. I got to learn how to buy stuff at the concession stand, even though I had no concept of money at that point. Now I actually do. Now that I'm earning a couple thousand a week. Oh, wait a second. I just left that out. That was Restaurant Depot, And, it was all great stuff, but, it was all great stuff, but under the hood though, it was terrible. Now at this time we were starting to really figure out what was going on. We were all great. It was always funny. I'd show concern for other people, and they're like, "Oh no, you're obsessing over this too much." And I knew I had a heart of gold back then and stuff like that, and I knew these people were being a bunch of idiots, and they weren't very trained very well. The thing that really set me off was the thing that really set things off really was when we would do. During my 5th, 6th, 7th years, when we do repeat assignments, see what would happen is we'd be doing the same assignment every single year. There'd be no variation. They just sat there and they put the same math problems in front of us every single year, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh, I did this and I kept telling my dad, I'm like, we did this a lot. I'm like, I did this last year, and I actually compared some of the math problems that I did, and I was asking people around and stuff like that, and they were like, and my dad was like, wow, he he's right. And then eventually, what happened was is we started what started is we knew they were lying out of their teeth, and we were trying to get teachers on our side. Unfortunately, the school committee, being the self-centered, and being very, very mean-spirited towards me and my folks. If there was ever a good teacher, this was the disturbing part, and I found this out years later. I think I found this out last year from my dad. Anytime we had a good teacher that would put in a good word for me, they get pink slipped. Like, the school committee would let them go. Like, if you say anything good, bad again, it's us, and you help us, you guys help out Mike's parents, we're letting you go. And the first casualty of that whole thing was, and the first casualty of that whole program was actually a man called James Marshall. Jamie Marshall. Good guy. He would teach me history, science, and we did after school stuff. We used to do adaptive life skills, adaptive phys ed, and everything else. Like we learned certain things. Like we learned archery, how to shoot hoops, practice how to shoot the bow and arrow. Some of these cool skills. I was okay with it. I was okay at archery. I'm not great. I'm better at shooting firearms. Better than that. So he was the first one to actually get pink slipped and stuff like that. And my God, good guy, really, really well mannered. I asked a year later. I'm like, where is he? Is he okay? And everything like that. Me being the typical, kind of hurted me that I knew I was back then, and it would grow to evolve over the years when I was done growing during the LPS and all those other years. So the excuse was to me and to my parents, oh, he's off helping the wife, or because his wife, who was Japanese, had a kid. And had a kid named Henry, funny enough, because one of my friends was named Henry back then, or one of my classmates was named Henry back then. So Henry was, so their excuse was, he's taking care of the wife, and he took another job to help be closer with the wife and everything like that. When in all honesty, they pink slipped him and they shoot him away. And they did this for every single good teacher we had. And we started also noticing some of their behaviors towards the other kids. And the one moment that really defined this whole thing, it's about 12 midnight now, but don't worry, I promised I'd have this on the 3rd, but I'm going to have it on the 4th, Easter, when the Lord is risen. Happy Easter, everybody. If you guys, because Happy Easter, everybody. I'm going to do a video later today, later tomorrow. Later today, now it's 12:01. The one moment that, oh yeah, by the way, shout out to Lee Coleman Shea and Mungo Jakarta for teaching me not only good speech skills, but also teaching me OT and fine motor skills. I probably wouldn't be able to hold a pen, and I probably wouldn't be able to shoot a firearm, or be able to hold things, or be able to dance with a girl without this. So Mungo Jakarta and Lee Coleman Shea be able to talk and articulate. I would not be without you guys. And I have a bunch of other people that I have to also thank at the end of this. But so the one moment that really, really defined the whole thing. We were doing cursive one day, and we're doing cursive. So, and here's where that kid Adam, nice kid, really good kid. I thought he could go places. He just had some behavioral stuff going on, and I felt bad for him. He was a nice little kid. So, so I'm trying to. So me being. So this was when I'm trying to. This was 6th grade, I think. Yeah, this was 6th grade. This was me being me. So, and this is when we started doing. This is when my mother started to My mother and father started to shadow everybody, and they started to kind of look at what was going on and stuff like that. And so one day, my parents weren't in. I wish my dad was. I wish my dad and my mother were in to tell them off about this. So, and all I can say is I felt real disgusted. I know there was some reasoning behind what they said, but I was disgusted what I was told, said the least. So we're doing cursive, we're writing, and everything else. We're all patting each other on the back. So Adam, nice kid, beside me, he says, "Oh, hey, look at." She goes, and he had a bit of a speech thing going on. She's like, "Oh, hey, Mike, look." She's like, "Hey, Mike, look at this. This is good." I said, "Yeah, you keep it." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Adam, you keep on doing this, and you keep practicing it." And I'm like, "I'm not perfect at it either, but I'm gonna keep on practicing. I'm gonna get better, and you're gonna get better, and everything like that." I said, "You'll do good." And I said, and he goes, "Oh, thanks." Then Miss Parmelo, who I had respect for, came around. She goes, and "Oh, Mike, that was." He goes, "Oh, Mike, that was very nice of you." And I'm like, "He's very good. He may be doing half of what you do, but that's very good, encouraging." Christine Labossiere, though, holy moly, she comes around. She goes, "Oh, Mike, do you know he's only doing half of your page? You shouldn't really be doing that." You said, "You're not really good with this yourself," and it's in this patronizing. "Oh, you shouldn't really be." All I'm doing is encouraging the kid, and he says, "Oh, we don't want to encourage him to do rambunctious. Think he's great." I'm like, all I'm doing is trying. I sat there, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't. I kind of hold myself. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to encourage this kid. Doesn't matter if the encouragement is big or small. That's still encouragement. Cause you should have seen the smile on the kid's face. He was like, "Oh, that's very nice, Mike." And then, "Oh, Mrs. Parmel, thank you." The other one comes over, and you should have seen the look shoot off this kid's face faster. And it's like, "Oh, I should really be careful." And I'm looking up at her, and I'm like, and while she has her back turns, and had my eyes glaring at her, and I'm like, you should know better. You should know better than to do that. And it was right then and there that I knew I had to. And I remember telling my mom and dad that day, and they're like, "Oh, he probably has." And I said, "No, I'm like, "Yeah, he doesn't get sent to the office. He may act out once in a while, but he didn't act out that day." And I'm like, I'm just trying to encourage the kid. I'm just trying to be kind-hearted. And I'm like, he really did a good job and everything like that. And it's good to encourage. I think I told my parents the story later, and I was like, "Oh, you tried to encourage him?" I'm like, "I'm trying to encourage him to do good, and not like these guys were gonna." And like, my dad's like, "Maybe it's good you didn't encourage him because they wouldn't have done it." So, yeah. So right from there on in, we got Martha Stewart, and I want to thank Martha Stewart. If you're out there still alive, I know you are out there. If you watch this video, thank you for that. Thank you for shadowing those teachers and figuring it out. And there's also John Beach, who is their own person trying to help them out, trying to prove us wrong. In the end, they saw what was happening, and we had enough evidence to go to court and tell them we got the evidence of the teachers being pink-slipped, all the evidence in the classroom, them not keep moving us on. They even tried, just as a desperate gesture in my 6th year, they actually tried to move me into the classroom just to make it look good. But the problem with it is I wasn't really. I remember Miss Conrad in 6th grade, and I remember somebody else in 7th grade, Mrs. Belasco in 7th and 6th, with history. Let me tell you something. I really did not understand what was going on. I could barely keep pace with anything. And my parents were like, "You shouldn't have switched him into the classroom." And they're like, "Oh no, we don't want to keep him in the learning center. It's not right for him. He's not." Once they knew, once my parents complained that what was happening, they tried to make movers, but they didn't do what they were supposed to. it was a lack of training, it was a lack of care, and it was a lack of understanding, and it was a lack of empathic. There were well, it was a lack of empathic and warm emotional connections. Something somebody with Asperger's like I needed, and not only that, they weren't even helping me when I was getting bored. Chris Edwards, a kid who I used to lock horns with. I just talked to one of the guys that I work at Restaurant Depot who his brother knew him. They don't talk anymore. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on, and his a lot of our now I just want to give some background. The reason why people have trouble in schools and the reason why people project all their problems is because we're in a middle class working class town, so everybody's got problems. Somebody's either drinking in the house or smoking weed or something like that. I don't know, but or there's violence going on, or there's just not any warmth in any of these houses, and it's strange because Terry Edwards, Chris's grandfather, actually owns construction contracting company in this town. Very respectable man, a man who my father actually is has good connections with in this town, and actually ascertained the truth on what happened back then. And I'm pretty sure Chris got quite the whacking, and I'm pretty sure he didn't do so well. So I want to show you guys what that school looked like. So I'm just not rambling on about nothing for like 20 minutes. So eventually, in the end, thanks to Gretchen Philopoulos and a bunch of other supporting casts people, we were able to we were able to eventually move past them and get into learning prep, which is where all my years of prosperity began. So I'm just going to show you one of the photos. I don't know which.
I had to discover what these people's and what. Alrighty, so this is so I shot the first video 2 days ago. I shot that video on the 1st. Alrighty, so this is footage for my next learning difference video. So this is the middle high school that I grew up in. It's been since re-renovated a bunch of times.
Sorry for the spots on the
this
camera.
is the school I actually went to. This is not a voiceover, but this is the school that I went to for between the years 2000 and 2002. This was the final 3 years of my life in this school, and my God, did I not have the most fun time in this school. This school is horrible. The school committee was horrible to boot. If the school committee finds this footage, I just want to say all the goddamn money that was put into making the school better and expanding it could have been used for the special ed program. DePaulzini, who was part of this whole thing, could have told them otherwise, but of course not. They had to expand this school. They expanded, I forget how much money it was, but they could have used a good chunk of that to fund special ed a little bit better and stuff like this. This was greed and capitalism at its very best, and it was used to expand their. The only reason why they did this is because they were taking in other school systems, but they could have done this earlier, and took them a little while after I left, because I'm pretty sure they got hit hard having to pay for my private school years, because The school looks beautiful, but but this monstrosity of a place is a testament to how focused they were on, expanding their own interests and not their students at the mods. And people and students suffered after this, not just me, but other students.
I shot this on a Monday, I
The
think.
graduation rate here is pathetic right now, and the school committee made it that way. But they had their reasons, but they were obviously ill-fated, and they were obviously, no, not ill-fated, but they were self-centered as all hell around here, and my dad taught them a lesson. I mean, Paul Zany, the guy who ran the special ed program in this school committee, is no longer with him, so that defeat, not retaining me, kind of still stings to this day, and still stings to this day because their graduation rate isn't so high. I knew some good people in here that helped me become who I am today. They were catalysts for my fight against these people. That door over there, not this one, but that door hidden over there was where I used to go in every day, and I used to go into the classroom that's on the corner here, and I used to stand in there, sitting there for 6 hours, a prisoner, kid who had a brain, kid who had the potential to do whatever, and I had my life sucked away from me in there for 6 hours, 7 hours at a time, and so yeah, and and after that, I fought with my parents, and we eventually won. So yeah, so this is the rotten history. This school has to be one of the worst examples of a school in this district. They took in too many kids because they wanted to line their pockets. They overspent their money on this whole restoration, and they couldn't do it on their kids. This school is an example. This school is an example of how money is misspent right here. And it's not spent on the students, it's spent to burgeon them, their own interests and their own frickin' pockets. And this is the reason why I wanted to fight this monstrosity of a building right here.
Yeah, I didn't have very kind words for these people. So this is another one.
I told you, this is all the money they took from all the different counties.
Alright.
Alrighty, so this is, so I shot the first video 2 days ago. I shot that video on the first. So this is the back portion of the Avon Mill High School. Now, in the last section, I did this. I told you guys what went on here with me. So, as you guys can see, this was added on. This didn't exist, that existed though. This is a new gym right here that they made. As I told you, this is all the money they took from all the different counties and everything. And they spent it on this big renovation. And so yeah, so this is the school that I grew up in back in the early to mid 2000s before I left. The Butler School is on the other side of town. I cannot get there actually because I need to take a cab to get there. I may show you that at some other point. But so what I was saying in the other video, the other part of the video, I'm going to combine these two in the video that I'm going to make. But what happened was the school picked up a contract to pick up other school districts that were close, and that way they would be able to do that and earn more money and for the tuition and help fund this project because the school was getting so big because of that contract, so they needed more space. My brother actually went here for 2-3 years, and then he went to Blue Hills Regional, which was a little bit better setup than this. And the special ed there was a little bit better than this. Yeah, these loading docks, they're brand new. Yeah, those have equipment for the field out here, the baseball field. And that's actually inside the building. Not in session because it's Tuesday. I mean, not in session because it's Sunday, but, and then when we come around here, we'll come around to the front portion of the school. So what happened was, is this was all done, as I said before, all the money that could have been used to expand, all the extra money that they used to expand this place could have been used for special ed, because, to be honest, they should have done this before they knew they were going to expand, and then use some of that money for special ed, but unfortunately, as I said before, it got used for this, and they shouldn't have expanded if they knew they didn't have the educational system to begin with. Probably, what good, I had two teachers that were really good that helped me open my eyes to how bad this place was. Mrs. Murphy, and this aide, Mrs. Parmelo, both of them were very instrumental in kind of teaching me just what good teaching and good, what good skills could be. They didn't obviously teach me anything, but they did teach me one thing. They taught me how badly the school was constructed, and its thinking, and I believe that's a history class, and then there's a wood-making class over here, I think. I'm not sure. Mr. Gifford, he's retired now. He used to be a history teacher. Math teacher, history teacher, I forget what he was. He also used to be our sports director here for many, many years. This is, and Mungo, Jakarta, three of those people, plus Diane Murphy and Miss. This is, I just want to say to Kevin Longvale, Lee Comanche, and Mungo Jakarta, three of those people, plus Diane Murphy and Miss Parmelo, all those people helped in helping my parents and I form the case against these people and in the school committee here, because without those people, I wouldn't have existed. Forget the name of the other lady that was a teacher. I gave her so much. She was under. I could tell she was under Zinni's payroll and watchful eye. So I gave her as much crap as I could to learn how they did this. And I used to act in order to get reactions out of these people. I know it could have been seen as acting out back then, but I had to discover what these people's and what these
and it helped out so much.
Were and what they were going to do.
So their loss.
If Paul Zinni ever catches this video, know that you were outsmarted by a 10-year-old. Know that you were outsmarted by a 13-year-old who knew and filmed Learning Prep School. But I had to discover what these people's. So if him at the ever beginning knew my parents knew, but getting drained of his education. So I knew my parents knew. She was under Zinni's payroll. Knew he was getting drained of his education. So and film Learning Prep School.
Alright, so I know this is probably going to be longer than like 50 minutes or something like that. I'm going to have to combine the videos. But what you guys get from that video is I really didn't like this place. And I just want to thank, out of all the people, for those of you watching, I want to thank Mrs. Parmelo. I want to thank Diane Murphy. I want to thank Mungo Jakarta. I want to thank Lee Comanche, Kevin Longvale, and John Beach and Martha Stewart. Those fine people were the people that put enough evidence on the table for my parents to say, hey, my kid is not getting educated very well. You guys are doing a horrible job. Can we get him to go, please? And I believe it was in 5th grade that I actually visited Learning Prep for the first time when I was, did I visit 4th, 3rd, 4th? No, I visited in 5th grade. Visited in 5th grade. I actually liked the place, actually. I was actually very good. Gail O'Mara, who is no longer with the system up there in Learning Prep, actually showed me the school. And that eventually was the catalyst, and we won the case. Eventually, we won the case, and they agreed to pay half of the tuition back then, and they also paid for my cab rides a little later on later in October of 2002, and I was a free man. Now, I just want to tell everybody that I just want to say to the Avon School Committee, you guys should have been ashamed of yourselves, and you guys missed a very good opportunity and everything like that. And and actually, I think it's funny because, as I said in the video, Paul Zini's no longer with them. He actually got fired, and Margaret Frieswick is all the way in Cuttyhunk in some middles, so she can't bother or hurt too many kids back there. Because I heard the last time how many kids she was dealing with. I think she was dealing with like 3, which is perfect for her. Which is a perfect amount of kids, since she couldn't even deal with one. So deal with one who had a learning difference. So yeah, and I think she graduated those last 2 kids like 2 years ago during the coronavirus. Yeah. Perfect for her capacity, because she didn't really have any mental capacity to help out kids and just be self-centered herself. And my dad kind of gave her what for when I was done. In fact, I think she retired like a year after I actually, because they tried to fight so hard over the next 6 years I was actually in learning prep. They actually tried to get me back. Just imagine that. Because I don't. Well, actually, I was there 7. Well, actually, I was there 2002 to 2009. But I'll talk to you guys that in part 3. So I gained my confidence back a little bit, but I knew I was moving on to a new setup, and I knew I was going to be in a different place and everything. But I knew that good times were ahead and stuff like that. Oh yeah, by the way, I want to say thanks to Mr. Callahan, Mrs. Vigor. Mrs. Vigor actually knew my cousin Amy, who's also a teacher, by the way, and bless Amy's heart for Amy Cochran, one of my mother's cousin and my cousin, for actually doing that. She's actually very good. She's actually very funny. She used to watch Jerry Springer, and she used to lock us out of the house, and we used to play on our own, by the way, but she was funny. We still joke about that with her today, but it was all good fun. So yeah, I mean, I just, as you guys heard in the video, I had to play around and teach them a lesson, and eventually we won. But yeah, part 3, hopefully, I don't know when that's going to come out. Since this is Autism Awareness Month and week, I kind of wanted to come out with that, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to come out with that a little bit, so. Yeah, so I just want to say everybody, I just want to say everybody, sorry for that quick pause, I just had to, but yeah, I just wanted to do this for Autism Awareness Month because, as I said, I'm autistic, so I figured I would do this, and I just want to say, to those of you who have autism, there is a way, if you can fight the right way, and if you can fight the right way and you have the right and if you have the right resources, some people don't, but if you do not, especially with the parents out there, please do seek out the resources that are necessary, and you will find answers if you just believe in the right people. And could you not skip out, please? Thank you. Yeah, I know. I know Autism Awareness Day was Friday the 2nd, but I wanted to do this on the Saturday of. So I know October is Awareness Month for autism, but Awareness Day 2021 was the 2nd. So, but I just wanted to do my contribution to that in light of it. Not only that, I also wanted to do this because this is my grandmother's anniversary, and she always taught me that, being different and being a good man and everything like that helps out. So yeah, I hope everybody learned something. Make sure if you know somebody with a learning difference, make sure you take the time to listen to them. Make sure you take the time to understand their feelings, and make sure you be an empath to them, be warm to them, because you don't know what you're going to learn, because they could teach you something that you never knew you were going to learn, because we are a wealth of information. We definitely change people's lives, and we definitely teach others just how to treat other people. And for those of you who treat people with learning disabilities very poorly, you know who you are. Know this, that you are shunning very, very bright individuals. Just give them the time to grow, and you will be rewarded. My parents were rewarded by their good deeds. My parents were very loving. People at Learning Prep, same thing. I'll get to that in the next video. That's 2002 to 2009. That's a stretch of everything. I don't know. I may do that in 3-4 parts. But it was just a wild ride. And I'll just tell you, puberty wasn't very interesting. But I'll get into more how that kind of transformed me in my LPS years, because that's when I got socially better. So I'll tell you how that evolved in there, because at the point I didn't know about girls, and I didn't know how to talk to them or flirt with them. But I'll get that into my next story. But yeah, so sorry this is going to be like an hour-long video, but I just had to do it, and because I have to make my contribution to Autism Awareness Day, which was technically Friday, April 2nd. April posted something yesterday as part of the autism awareness thing, so she, because has Asperger's like I do, so, and pray for those who actually have it, because you are different, you are a different star, you are a bright star, and everybody out there, just take the time to listen to them, because I'm pretty sure I've made a difference in other people's lives, and have changed people's perspectives one way or another. Alright, everybody. Good night. I appreciate you guys listening to me, and how thankful I was, and what we did. It just takes, what it takes is good counseling, Kevin Longvale, and good teachers, different balances, and also good people, good kind-hearted people that are willing to step in for the fight. And Martha Stewart and John Beach for turning on the Avon school system, thank you. Mr. Beach, if you're still alive, I thank you. And if you're not around, bless your soul. And also thankful to my parents that they realized that I had a gift and I was a good person. So, and they always did that, because I have fun Irish Italian, because I have fun Irish French Italian parents and everything like that. So I'm glad to be in a warm household and everybody. And my dad always, and the reason why my dad wanted me to have a good education, because he didn't mind paying for it, because he thought education was important, and that's still a good thing to this day. I just want to say to everybody, thank you very much for listening. Just be thoughtful out there, and I will see you guys in another episode. This is episode 185, special episode. Good night.